Hi, this is Olive, and I wanted to make this video for Nazarite girls that are treating and tending their hair. And are running into a few problems or issues. So these are natural hair solutions. So I wanted to address the three most prevailing issues that a Nazarite woman might run against. If you don't know what a Nazarite is, it is a vow that a woman or a man can take to dedicate their lives to the Lord. And according to the scriptures, there are a few stipulations that the Lord puts on that in order for it to be a covenant and a vow that he respects and honors. So if you want to know more about that, check out my Nazarite vow video. If you haven't taken the Nazarite vow, please consider it, but definitely meditate and pray about it before you do so, because it is a long-term, if not a lifelong commitment. And just to interject here for a moment, I want you to keep in mind these things as I express them to you, that our hair is not the end product or the focus or the main concern when you give a Nazarite vow. The whole core of that vow is that you've yielded yourself completely to the Lord so he can use you for his purpose. Your hair is just a symbol of that vow. And because it's a symbol of that vow, you don't want other people, especially people whose spirits you don't know, to touch your vow. So be very careful about that. And when it comes to styling, there's no such concept in biblical femininity, Hebraic women during those times. I think styling truly is a Western or originated thought. I believe that it evolved with the hair industry here and with the salons, beauty shops, and barbers. There is an idea of a cut for a style, and I have never discovered that in my research. In ancient biblical times, in Eastern culture, mostly those women keep their hair long. So I don't believe you need to cut your hair in order for it to be becoming to your face. I think that you can style it without cutting and be creative in its design. And I believe Eastern culture, women covered their hair or protected it because of the hot climate, because of the Eastern culture, and because of their daily lifestyle. As you know, a lot of women in the Bible are found transporting water from a well to and fro from their homes and from where their flocks dwell. So just imagine all that hair getting in the way. They covered it and pulled it back in order to handle their daily tasks in their culture. So there's a lot of information online, Pinterest and YouTube about women with natural hair that seems to fit the category of type 4. And so it is a dual sword because it's a celebration of that type of coarse hair that hasn't been celebrated, promoted, or looked at in a positive way for many years. So it's wonderful. But those of us that are left with type 3 hair, have to search longer or harder or higher or deeper for information on type 3 hair. When I share these things that I do with my hair, I just want you to understand that my type of hair is type 3B and 3C, and it's also the most coarsest, thickest, densest, high porosity hair on the planet. At least that's what I believe, and that's what many hairstylists and dressers have told me. Another little disclaimer, I know that a lot of people are pro coconut oil on their skin and their hair. For me personally, I am anti coconut oil because it does not do well with my skin and hair. So I move toward the other range of the pendulum. I'm not of the bandwagon of coconut oil, so that's also in my regular routine to stay away from it. And so I basically do 3 things. And if you want to know more in depth of what I do specifically to my hair, check out this video. 10 steps to maintaining your hair. So my routine consists of making my own products and dealing with my hair with my own products. I've stopped using all the products on the market for women with natural curly hair or natural wavy hair due to reasons I explained in the video. 1. Evening out your hair. Your hair may be at a point now where it's not even all around, and some parts might be a little bit shorter than the others, and some parts might be longer. I had this problem at a few times in my life because I went to schools, and this is not to say anything negative about beauty schools, but these were students learning to do hair, and as they were doing hair, sometimes they make mistakes because they're learning, they're being trained. And so once I went to a beauty school, and this young male, he cut my hair unevenly all around. So here it was long, and then it started to go up on one side of my head. And so I grew out of that. And then right before my wedding, I went to a braider, and she wasn't as gentle with my hair. And she wasn't a student, she's a professional. She's done some phenomenal work, but she wasn't as gentle with my hair. Maybe she wasn't accustomed to dealing with my type of hair, but she was very kind of rough. And over the course of a few weeks, I found out that the part she braided the most was longer, and the part that was left unbraided, which was a style I asked her to do at the time, was a little bit shorter. So I had to go through a period of that. After I had finally gotten my hair to be even or close to that. So what I found to help that issue, since one of the stipulations is not cutting our hair, is to section apart that portion of your hair that is shorter than the rest of your hair. And you might look a little bit funny for a while, but I assure you in due time it will be worth it. So after you section that part off and leave the rest of your hair alone, that is the length, the same length that you want to keep, you take that part that you sectioned off and you braid that, and you do not braid the rest, because braiding is one of the secret methods to growing your hair. At least those with coarse hair such as mine, braiding was an excellent method for growing out hair. So think about the theory. You're only braiding that part that's short, and you're keeping the rest alone. And then you're finding some kind of unique styles. And so the braided part is going to grow in faster than the other part, and it's going to catch up. And so this is what I did to certain parts of my head that I felt weren't even, and they're pretty much to the same level of the rest. Now there's still a little bit more growth, about an inch that I'm looking for on that side, but it's definitely not where it was before. The second issue that has actually come up in the comments is about trimming your hair. Now, I know the Nazarite vow says do not cut your hair, and so that is something that we have vowed not to do, not to cut our hair. But before you look at your hair and say, I can't do anything with it, and people are especially concerned about the ends, this is what I suggest you do, because I was having the same issue. I was going to the Lord and I was saying, Lord, my ends, what can I do? And He told me, give me a season or two. Do not even touch them, and do exactly what I say. And He told me wait to the spring, and this was like the end of this was midwinter. And so I'm thinking, what does the spring have to do with any of this? And I thought, okay, I understand it's a new year in the Lord. Maybe He's telling me it's okay for me to trim in the new year. I don't know. But He said, give me until spring. And so that's what I did. I gave them into spring, and I decided that I am not just going to stare at my ends and let them just wither away. I actually did several things. First, I thought, okay, I'm not going to think I have to deal with my ends. I'm going to think, you know what? God gave me a healthy head of hair, and I'm going to take care of it, and all of it from the root to the ends is healthy. So I thought that, even though I did not see it immediately, even though I did not see it at the time, that was my thought process. I thought healthy hair. Okay, so while I'm thinking this, I'm also doing an action along with that thought so that it can manifest, because faith without works is dead. Dead ends, pun intended. Okay. Bad joke, good joke, you decide. Anyway, so I returned to my ends, and I decided I'm no longer going to wear my ends out during the season that God told me to wait. So I did nothing but protective styles. And even though, yes, I went out and I saw women with their hair down and their hair out, and I wanted to be one of them, but I decided I need to remedy this situation. I need a solution so that I can get to that point where I can wear it out. So I suffered in that sense, not like, oh my gosh, pain and suffering, but suffering meaning not being able to do as I wanted to do in order to have a better future, a better solution for my hair. So I wore it wrapped up all the time, the whole season. Now, in the meantime, also while doing this, I prayed. As you know, my Hair as a Ministry video talks about the specific prayer that God gave me to pray over my hair, as well as quoting scriptures. So I did that during the time, as well as I treated my hair very gently. I am normally not the most gentlest person when it comes to dealing with my hair, because my hair is coarse, my hair is rough, my hair is thick, and it needs a strong hand to handle it. So I have not really spent a lot of my life being extremely gentle to my hair. I've had to train it and whip it into and tame it to be something I can manage, which, as you watch that video, you can understand that I never believed up until that point that I had manageable hair. So I started to treat it more gently and to act as if I had healthy hair. I asked the Lord, because I did not want to violate the vow, if trimming or dusting, which is a light form of trimming, it's only taking off those pieces of the hair and the portions of the hair that need to be taken off, quote unquote. So I asked him if dusting or trimming would be okay. And so I had peace about it, but by the time spring came and I examined my ends, they were extremely healthy. There was no need to trim it, no need to dust it, no need to do any of that. So I said, thank you, Lord. Not only did you keep me from violating the vow, you brought my hair to a healthy state. And I know that these solutions can also help you. If you're a Nazarite girl and you're going through this process, you can take these steps that I've taken to also bring your hair back to a healthy state. Just remember, while you're doing it, you must believe and you must think and feel that your hair is healthy, even if you don't see it. Because remember, the Lord calls those things that aren't as though they were, and then they come into existence. On a side note, another issue that we may run across is knots. And I don't have as many as I used to have, but every now and then I do see them, and I try some techniques to lower the count of those that I have in my hair. But once I see one, every person I know that wears their hair natural that finds a knot and I'm around, they ask me to come treat it. Why? Because I do not believe in just cutting it out, which is
almost to the point that they get to a frustration by the time they call me, because they can't take it, they can't do anything with it, and they're like, it's just there. And I think my whole thing, because I'm so pro-life, I want to save life in every aspect, from the ant to the knot in your hair. So they call me because they know that I address knots, not in a way to just cut them out of your hair, but I try to save every strand possible, because the more strands you save, the more hair you have. So what I do is I very gently, because you know, you can kind of get kind of upset and handle it roughly and just want to be through with it. I gently pull from the top of the knot. Okay, this needs a demonstration, definitely, and hopefully I can present that to you. I did a video in the past with my friend Summer, and I'll look for that. Maybe it's on there. But I'll pull very gently on the top, and then I'll pull at the bottom, then pull again at the top, and then at the bottom, until I can pull out every single strand that's been wrapped up in that knot. And then what's usually left is one tiny knot on one strand. Okay, so then I could deal with that. So if I cannot pull that one little knot off of the strand, then I'll take the knot wherever it is on the strand. I'll put my fingernail there, and from there I'll just snap it off. So the person only loses that knot on, which is lost anyway if you can't undo that knot, instead of losing a whole wad of hair. So that's how I solve that problem. And if you need more tips or steps or more illustrations on how to do that, just let me know in the comments below. The last remedy that I have for a hair problem that I seen come up is how to style it while you're also protecting it, because protective styles not only keep your hair healthy and keep your hair's length and helps new hair that grows in stay there, but it also protects it from the elements outside, the wind, the sun, the moisture, which we do want. So here are two styles I came up with that keep your hair in a protective state while styling it where you can wear it outside. I know one YouTuber, she speaks French, and she actually wore her hair wrapped up in saran wrap, treated with all types of hair products, and put it under a cap for at least 1 month while she went to work, while she ran errands, while she was at home. She did this and she got the results she wanted. It grew to the length she desired, and she did that for 1 month. But some of us cannot afford to wear our hair wrapped up in saran wrap 24/7 for 30 days. If you have a husband, if you are widely seen at your job, if you have a customer service position, if you go to and fro in the public and run many errands, this might not be ideal for you. If you are not a person who can handle that type of reclusiveness, because it takes a type of persona to deal with that type of method. I mean, you kind of have to pull yourself back from society, because even she mentioned people at her job were looking at her strange, but she said she did not care. She had a mission and this was her goal, and not everyone has that type of strength inside of them, and they want a social life and they want to meet people and they want to appear approachable, and I don't think a saran wrap on your head will help you do that. So instead I came up with these protective styles that you can wear outside and not be a little bit embarrassed by, if you're that type of person. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you, and see you next time.